More than 40% of women over 40 openly confess in clinical studies that the most intense pleasure they've ever felt in their lives did not come from the clitoris, nor from the vagina, but from gentle anal stimulation, done with subtlety and safety. And the most surprising part is that most never admit it to their partner, because they believe it's a taboo, that they shouldn't say it, or because they know most men wouldn't even imagine it. That's what makes this secret so powerful. It's not about P*RN, nor an aggressive game, but something much more intimate, psychological, and profound. The female anal area is surrounded by nerve endings that connect with the pelvic plexus and the vagus nerve, responsible for pleasure responses that travel throughout the body. While the clitoris has around 8,000 nerve endings localized in one specific spot, the anal area is linked to a network of nerves that trigger sensations toward the abdomen, pelvis, and even the chest. That's why many women describe this kind of orgasm as a whole-body orgasm, one that releases emotions, tears, laughter, tremors, and a feeling of complete surrender. You won't see this in an adult film, because there it's reduced to aggressive penetration. But in real life, what women want, especially older women, is something different. Subtlety, external touch, slow massage, that forbidden caress that awakens what was always hidden. A survey conducted by the Kinsey Institute revealed that more than 30% of women aged 50 or older admitted reaching more intense orgasms thanks to anal stimulation, even in cases where the clitoris no longer responded with the same intensity due to hormonal changes of menopause. Do you realize how powerful this information is? And here's the most curious part. They'll never tell you. They won't ask for it in bed. They won't confess it in a chat with friends. But they desire it in silence, waiting to find a man confident enough to dare explore it. Because when a man touches that zone with delicacy, with respect and with security, he awakens in them something far beyond the physical. He awakens a feeling of absolute surrender. Now ask yourself, have you ever dared to do it? Can you imagine your partner's reaction if you try carefully, not as a taboo, but as a gift of pleasure? Write it in the comments because I want to know how many of you have really tried, and how many still don't dare. You'll be surprised to read that many men are just like you. Curious, doubtful, eager to try but unsure how to begin. The fascinating thing about older women is that, with age, their sexuality changes. They no longer seek the basic, nor settle for the routine. They don't want just vaginal penetration or quick clitoral stimulation. They want the unexpected, the forbidden, what they feel very few men dare to give them. And here lies the true secret. When a mature woman experiences a well-done anal caress, many times she describes it as more pleasurable than the clitoris. Not because the clitoris no longer matters, but because that unexpected touch activates a different pleasure circuit in her brain. Deeper, longer lasting. And pay attention. In a study published in the Journal of Sexual Behavior, women who reported enjoying this practice said they not only experienced more intense orgasms, but also a stronger emotional connection with their partner. Why? Because they live it as an experience of trust and total surrender. That's the difference. It's not a trick, it's not a trend, it's a biological and psychological secret that transforms intimacy. This is what they want and never tell you. A man who dares to touch the forbidden, but does so with grace, with care, with intention. That man becomes unforgettable. And that woman, even if she never confesses it out loud, will keep that moment as one of the most intense of her life. Now that you know the secret, it's time to go deeper into how to make it real. Because it's not enough to know that many women enjoy anal stimulation. The true difference lies in how a man leads her to that point of pleasure. And this is where most fail, because they believe it's about repeating what they saw in a video or doing it quickly and carelessly. The truth is that what makes this experience unforgettable is the art of preparation. The time, the patience, and the way you guide each touch are what define whether it will be something magical or an experience she will never want to repeat again. The first step is to understand that pleasure begins long before direct contact. The anal area is surrounded by extremely sensitive nerve endings, but it needs to awaken gradually. It's not about diving in abruptly, but about turning it into a journey that increases tension and expectation. Imagine slowly caressing her skin with your hands, her hips, her thighs, her lower back, until you approach that forbidden place. At that moment, you've already activated not only her body but her mind, because the forbidden excites the brain like very few other things do. And when your partner realizes you're taking her to a territory almost never explored, what she feels is an explosive mix of desire, adrenaline, and trust. When you caress around with circular, soft, and slow movements, you're not only stimulating the skin. You are touching nerve fibers connected to the pelvic floor that can cause involuntary contractions, small jolts she cannot control. Many women describe that sensation as an internal earthquake, something they cannot hold back. That already tells you that you're not just facing a simple game, but a trigger of orgasms far more intense than the usual ones. And the most surprising thing is that this doesn't only happen in her body, but also in her mind. Taboo plays a decisive role. What is considered forbidden, what almost no one confesses openly, becomes one of the most powerful sources of arousal. When a man activates that part of her, he's not only stimulating her body, he's generating complicity, creating a secret pact that triggers dopamine and oxytocin, the hormones that make her associate him with deep pleasure and emotional connection. It's no coincidence that many mature women say that with this practice they feel more alive, younger, and with a renewed desire. But here I want to pause on something crucial: mistakes. Because if it's done roughly, without preparation, or without her being relaxed and aroused, everything is ruined. Pain or discomfort immediately extinguishes desire. That's why it's so important to go slowly, with playfulness, with subtlety, without reducing the experience to penetration. In fact, the real secret is not in entering, but in the external massage, in the playful caresses that surround the area, in the way you create the tension of circling a treasure without fully opening it. That is what truly awakens the mind and body of a mature woman. And what almost no one knows is that if you combine that stimulation with vaginal or clitoral touch at the same time, the effect multiplies incredibly. Neurological studies confirm it. When the pudendal nerves and branches of the vagus nerve are simultaneously activated, the female brain releases a surge of endorphins and dopamine stronger than in any other type of orgasm. This is not me saying it, science says it. And when you put it into practice, what happens is that she can reach an orgasm that is not only stronger but more complete, more expansive, a whole-body orgasm she will never forget. And now I want to ask you directly, because this is a subject that divides men. Would you dare to try it with your partner this very week, even if it's just with a simple, soft, external massage, or do you still feel it's too big of a taboo? Write it in the comments, because I want to read your answer and see how many of you are willing to take this step and how many still hold back. I assure you, reading other men's experiences in the comments will surprise you as much as what you've just discovered here. Older women don't want more of the same. They're not looking for routine. They've already lived years of the typical. What makes them lose control today is a man who dares to give them something different, unexpected, forbidden. A man who understands that female pleasure doesn't end with the clitoris, and who knows that the most powerful key lies in daring to touch what almost no one dares to. If you are that man, you won't just take her to her highest point of pleasure. You'll also become unforgettable, the man who gave her what she had always desired but never confessed.